Welcome back to BCBA Exam Prep. In this video, we're focusing on task analysis and task chaining, two closely related, but frequently confused, concepts on the BCBA exam. We'll walk through how complex skills are broken down into behavior chains, and how different chaining procedures are selected to teach those skills effectively. This is a high-frequency exam topic, and the exam is not testing memorization. It's testing whether you can choose the right procedure for the right learner. Teaching complex skills is central to applied behavior analysis, which is why this topic appears so often on the BCBA exam. Many exam questions involve multi-step behaviors, such as daily living skills or vocational tasks. A major source of error is confusing analysis with instruction. The exam frequently tests whether you understand the difference between task analysis and task chaining. You are expected to identify how to break down a skill and how to teach that skill once it's been analyzed. Procedure selection, not definitions, is the core exam focus here. Most functional life skills are not single responses. They are chains of behavior. These skills consist of ordered steps that must be performed in sequence to produce a meaningful outcome. In ABA, analysis always comes before instruction. If we don't systematically break a skill down, teaching becomes inconsistent and generalization suffers. Task analysis is the bridge that allows us to move from a complex skill to a teachable behavior chain. A behavior chain is a sequence of linked responses performed in a fixed order. Each response produces a stimulus change that serves two functions. It reinforces the previous response, and it becomes the SD for the next response. At the end of the chain, a terminal reinforcer maintains the entire sequence. On the BCBA exam, identifying the terminal reinforcer is critical for understanding how the chain is maintained. Behavior chains have a fixed order. Changing the order disrupts the outcome. Each step depends on the previous step, meaning incomplete chains reduce independence. Intermediate reinforcement helps maintain momentum, but it's the terminal reinforcer that maintains the full chain. If a learner cannot access the terminal reinforcer, the entire chain is likely to break down. Independence depends on fluent completion of behavior chains. When learners cannot complete full chains, their functional independence is limited. ABA practice relies on systematic analysis of these chains to promote meaningful outcomes. The BCBA exam frequently tests your understanding of how terminal reinforcers maintain chains, so always identify the final outcome when analyzing chain behavior. Task analysis is the systematic breakdown of a complex skill into teachable units. It identifies discrete, observable, and measurable steps and produces the structure of the behavior chain. Task analysis creates the blueprint for teaching, but it is not an instructional procedure. This distinction is critical. Task analysis is analysis, not intervention. Task analysis clarifies instructional targets by breaking skills into teachable units. It identifies prerequisite skills and supports precise data collection. It also guides the teaching sequence, ensuring instruction follows the structure of the task. Effective teaching is built on accurate task analysis. A common exam trap is confusing task analysis with intervention. Another is assuming task analysis teaches the skill. It does not. Task analysis creates the chain. Chaining procedures teach the chain. On the exam, keywords like breakdown point to task analysis, while teach points to chaining. Task analysis defines the chain structure. Chaining is the instructional method used to teach that chain step by step. Analysis must always come before instruction. A simple exam rule: if the question asks how to break down the skill, the answer is task analysis. If it asks how to teach the skill, the answer is chaining. Task chaining is an instructional procedure used to teach behavior chains. It involves step-by-step teaching, systematic prompting, and reinforcement. Chaining procedures are selected based on learner skill level and motivation, not instructor preference. There are three primary chaining procedures: forward chaining, backward chaining, total task presentation. The BCBA exam expects you to select the correct procedure based on learner needs and task demands. Forward chaining teaches the first step first. The learner performs mastered steps, while the instructor completes the remaining steps. Reinforcement is delivered after the terminal step. This procedure emphasizes early success and is ideal when initial steps are simple and motivating. Forward chaining works best when learners benefit from early success. It is appropriate when the initial steps are easier and strong prerequisites are present. Skill acquisition progresses step by step over time. On the exam, forward chaining is often linked to early mastery and confidence building. Backward chaining teaches the last step first. The instructor completes all earlier steps, and the learner completes the final step. The learner contacts the terminal reinforcer immediately, creating strong motivation. This is especially useful when task completion itself is reinforcing. Backward chaining is ideal for completion-dependent tasks. It is often used when learners struggle to finish the chain or when the terminal reinforcer is highly motivating. Exam keywords include immediate reinforcement, can't finish, and motivated by outcome. Total task presentation teaches all steps every session. Prompts are provided as needed and faded over time. Reinforcement is delivered only after the entire chain is completed. This approach is best for learners who already have partial mastery. Total task presentation works well when the task length is manageable and the learner can perform some steps independently. It promotes fluency across the entire chain and smooth performance. On the exam, look for learners with partial skill sets and manageable task demands. Forward chaining starts with the first step. Backward chaining starts with the last step. Total task presentation teaches the entire chain. They differ in prompting, reinforcement timing, and learner suitability. Procedure selection should always be based on learner data, not preference. Ask 3 questions. Does the learner need immediate completion reinforcement? Are prerequisites present for early steps? Is the task long or short? These questions guide correct procedure selection on the BCBA exam. Common traps include choosing procedures based on preference, ignoring the terminal reinforcer, and skipping task analysis. Prompt dependency is another frequent issue. Data must show systematic prompt fading. Never select chaining without first conducting a task analysis. In the brushing teeth example, the learner struggles with final steps and is motivated by the outcome. Backward chaining is recommended because it provides immediate access to the terminal reinforcer. The justification aligns with learner profile and task structure. Proper chaining promotes independence and ethical instruction. Teaching must be data-driven and socially valid. Generalization, prompt management, and maintenance must all be considered. Chaining should always prioritize functional independence. Task analysis defines the chain, chaining teaches it. Forward, backward, and total task procedures differ in structure and purpose. The exam focuses on discrimination and decision-making. Clear analysis leads to independence. To master chaining decisions, practice BCBA-style questions that require procedure selection. Focus on learner needs, task structure, and reinforcement. Visit www.bcbmockexam.com to continue building exam fluency and confidence.